I'm Mark Turner, Wildlife Extension Specialist at OSU, and today we're going to be talking about things that you can be doing to manage your food plots during the summertime. You know, a lot of folks during the summertime are thinking about fishing or thinking about other things within the outdoors, but it really is a great time of year to evaluate and hopefully set yourself up for success within your food plots on your property. There's a lot of good habitat management that can be done during the summertime, and that also extends to areas that you might be planning for deer or turkeys for food plots, whether that's cool season food plots or warm season food plots. The first thing I like to consider doing during the growing season, especially right now during the summertime, is going out and evaluating your food plots for potential weed problems. Certainly, if you've planted something like soybeans or sunflowers, oftentimes warm season annual grasses can be a problem. And so, spraying to control them can help boost either forage production or seed production if you're managing sunflowers for doves. This is a great time of year to do that. This is also the time of year that you should be thinking about your perennial clover plots. If you're managing something like white clover or red clover and trying to maintain that as a perennial planting, this is a great time of year to evaluate weeds within that plot and in particular spray to control those grass weeds that can outcompete the forage production that you're desiring. The second thing I like thinking about during the growing season is go ahead and get your soil testing done. Certainly soil amendments are really important for food plot success, and we're talking about both lime as well as fertilizer. And lime in particular takes a fair amount of time to work, and so instead of waiting for the fall or right before you're fixing to plant the plot, go ahead and take your soil test now when there might not be quite as much going on your property and you might not be as busy with planting. Take your soil test now. That'll give time for the results to come out, for you to figure out and line up your purchase of lime or fertilizer that you need, and go ahead and get those amendments applied such that you're going to have more successful food plots in the fall because you went ahead and amended the soil appropriately ahead of time. And then the last thing that I like to think about doing during the summertime with food plot management is actually pretty simple. Don't go out and bush hog them. Now, that's not to say that there's not times that I might think about mowing a food plot during the summer, but if I've got a fallow food plot that, especially one where maybe I have sprayed it to control some problematic weed species that are there, especially those grass weeds, but I might also have some good broadleaf weeds coming up that most would call weeds, species like common ragweed, for instance, but those actually are providing excellent forage resources for wildlife. They're also providing good structure for turkey broods or quail broods. And so simply parking the bush hog, staying off the mower, and just let your food plots that are fallow be fallow until you're ready to plant in the fall is a great way to provide additional resources for wildlife. And again, it's actually saving you money because you're not spending expensive diesel fuel to cut that plot. For more information on food plot management for wildlife, check out some of the resources on the SUNUP website.